Hey, what's up guys? Mike Patrick. In this video, I want to talk about persona. I want to talk about persona, our image of ourselves, and the image that others have of us. And I want to challenge the image that we have of ourselves and the image that others have of us. So, in turn, I want to challenge our ego. Okay, because your persona is pretty much just your ego. It's your character. Okay, it's who you have came to believe you are, and it's also who you have who you have become to others. Okay, the way that they perceive you. All right. Now, the thing about our persona, guys, I'm going to say that our persona is a bad thing. Okay. Our persona is a bad thing, just like you hear your ego being a bad thing. But, you know, in everyday life, in common everyday life, people don't really get in depth with conversations like this, okay? Now, if you study different spiritual ideas, okay, if you are a very intellectual, introspective person who dwells into things like this, then this is going to be a topic that you probably have come across, okay? But I'm gonna put my words to it, okay? And for those who may come across my content and my material who don't delve into things like this, perhaps I can be the start of them delving into certain things, and so thus I'm going to bring forth this content, okay, about our persona. And guys, this is going to be a video that I digress a lot. It's going to be a video that I divagate, okay, I deviate based on the fact that I'm going to just go with this one, okay? I just go with all my videos. What I mean is, typically, I try to stick to a point, get to that point as fast as I can, you know. And with this one, this is going to be a whole lot more, you know, intellectual, introspective, like I said. And so therefore, I may go off a little bit away from the point, but hopefully I will constantly be sharing information that is beneficial, okay? So now with that said, guys, our persona, how do I want to begin to approach this? Okay, so what happens, guys, we all are born, right? It's understandable, you know, how we come to form our ego, okay? We're born into the world, you know, we don't know anything, we're just here, right? And then we have, you know, your mother is your first one, as far as who's teaching and laying a foundation down for you as to what life means, how to define life, how to do things. Your mother is your first teacher, you know, and then whoever else as you grow up, we're constantly being taught. You know, our environment teaches us. Anyone around us is we're constantly learning, okay? Our brains are constantly picking up on information, and we're constantly forming our idea and our perception of what life is, okay? And so if enough people tell you that you're ugly, you know, you're probably going to identify and form an ego of being an ugly person. If enough people tell you over the years you growing up that you're handsome, that you're beautiful, that's going to be a part of your ego, your persona. You're going to think that you're an attractive person. So people are constantly giving us feedback, okay, and projection of who we are, all right? And the thing is, persona is bad because it's very limiting. Okay, it's very limiting, all right? Now, why do I say that? Because now, once you have personified yourself and others have personified you, rather, then you become a prisoner to that personification, right? So, if you are supposed to be I'll put it this way. Let's say I'm a middle-class, middle-aged white guy that lives in rural America, okay? There's a whole idea of what I'm supposed to be, okay? So let's say I'm I'm a factory worker. I make $200,000 a year. I live in rural America. I have a family. By that point, at a middle age, I am locked into my personification, right? I can't now. It's certain things I feel like I can't do. I become prisoner. Okay, so therefore, I can't go to BET, right, and go in and and audition to be a host for 106 in Park, if they still have 106 in Park. I don't watch TV no more. For those of you old enough, or if you're young enough, if you don't know what 106 in Park is, it's like a music video show that appealed to young, urban, uh, African American and Hispanics, pretty much, right? And so therefore, the host appease that. Okay, it was like the host was always younger African American or Hispanic hosts. Okay, who dressed a certain type of way, who talked a certain type of way, etc. They fit the whole personification. So me being a middle-aged rural American white guy who's a manager at a factory, right, who drives a Ram, and I bump country music and have a John Deere head. I'm being very facetious, and I'm being like how most people are with stereotypes, okay? So the thing is, if that's me, I'm going to be, people going to think I'm crazy if I wake up one day and say, I'm going to go audition to be a host at 106 in Park, right? I would have bumped my head, okay? That's not my persona, people don't look at me that way. That will look funny. That will look weird to most people until I shed my ego, right? I shed my persona, and I actually go and do that, and then I challenge everyone's perception of how things are supposed to be, of what reality is. Okay? So at first it may seem a little weird, but give it a few minutes, okay? And maybe people are starting to be able to look at me in that manner, in that light. Okay? Maybe people will start to accept that, okay? And thus now I change people perception, I've changed people reality, and I've changed the world to a certain degree, right? Look at Old Town Road, right? Look at Old Town Road. You have a young that wasn't part of a persona that we was used to, right? You have a young, now even though it still had a little hip hop twist to it, and it kind of seemed a little bit more, kind of almost like satire, I guess you could say. Like, he didn't really seem like he was trying to be a country western type. It doesn't seem like he was taking himself seriously. You know what I mean? So this may not be a great example, but you get what I'm saying. Who thinks of a young African American male to be a country singer, right? And to take on that whole persona of, a cowboy hat, cowboy boots, Wrangler jeans. That's not part of his persona until he stepped out and he showed us that. Okay, he took a chance, and then gradually, I'm sure when that song first came out, a lot of people did not want to accept it. Okay, it didn't fit the persona, but eventually it grew on people. Okay, and that's what life is all about, as far as you being an individual and leaving a legacy. Okay, you don't want to be a prisoner to your persona, because depending on your demographic and what your persona is, that's very limiting for some people. Okay, some people have the persona of only all they're able to do in life is maybe play sports, maybe be an entertainer. Okay, and if that's the case, if you feel uncomfortable going outside of what society has told you that you can be and who you are, okay, then you're going to limit yourself. Okay, so I think about, so when I say, and then let me get more so into when I say shed the persona. Okay, I'm not going to say shed the ego, because a lot of spiritual teachers or coaches or gurus or what have you get into the concept of the ego and how you want to shed the ego. Okay, but the thing is, guys, I'm going to say don't try to shed the ego, because I don't think you can ever actually shed your ego, because we're never going to be able in this realm, okay, in this existence that we find ourselves in. We're going to always have a perception of ourselves and others. We're going to always have a concept. So you're not going to be able to just have a blank slate and look at yourself as just energy or a soul. People are always going to be projecting themselves back to themselves, and others are going to always be projecting who they think you are and who they think you should be back to you. So you're never going to actually be able to shed the ego. It's impossible in this plane of existence. But what you can do is shed the persona. Jump in and out of different egos. Don't allow yourself to limit yourself. Don't allow others to limit you and tell you who you are, okay? And then you become a prisoner to that. Shed personas, okay? If you have been following my life, say over the past 10 years, people who know me personally, okay, and things, and you can see how I like to shed personas. I like to play with my ego. I like to shed personas. This adds to my legacy in life. This is what makes me feel fulfilled. This is what I think I'm here for. I have a different outlook on life than most people. I don't look at myself as Michael Patrick. I look at myself as energy, as a soul, okay, that is here to experience different things and to express myself and to learn and express myself. I don't look at life as like I'm Michael Patrick who's trying to survive until I can't survive no more, then I pass away. Okay, I know I'm going to die one day. Okay, even if I could live forever, I'm one of those people who, if I could live if I lived for 1,000 years, right, at some point I'll be ready to check out and go on to some other plane or level of existence. Okay, it would just get old. So that's how I look at life, guys. I look at life as ultimately I can't be destroyed, so there's nothing to fear. Survival, the idea of survival comes with fear. Okay. And so if I know that ultimately, as me at my highest self, I am, I'm a soul, okay? And with that said, there's nothing to fear. So I live life for, like I said, an experience. I live life to learn. I live life to leave a legacy, almost like a video game. You know, if you're gonna play a video game, you want to play the game the best you can, and maybe have your name in the records on, you know how when you go play Pac-Man, it shows you, when them old Pac-Man machines, it shows you who had the highest scores and things like that. That's what you want to do, guys, because you're going to leave here one day, and you want to leave a legacy. So what I've done is I've always tried to be the best Mike that I could be, and as I better myself, I try to continue to be the best me I can be as I continue to better myself, and I always try to shed personas and do different things, okay? And so I can leave a legacy and hopefully be inspiration to others, hopefully try to be light to others to what life could really be, okay, as to what life could really be, okay. So you see me do many different things, and that's all about shedding a persona, not allowing people to keep me in a box, okay. So I'm sure it's a lot of things that I've done that have made people very critical, that have made people very uncomfortable, okay. And I've always challenged myself and my consciousness with doing different things, because there's a lot of things I try to talk myself out of, thinking it wasn't me, okay. But then I had to remind myself that I'm not Michael Patrick, okay. I'm not Michael Patrick. Michael Patrick is a persona. Michael Patrick is a part of my ego, okay. So I'm not going to limit myself. If it's something I want to do to express myself and express my divinity, okay, then therefore I'm going to do it, okay. And when you do that, guys, you get revelations, you get breakthroughs when you do things like that, because now you feel liberated and more free, okay. And then, like I said, all has to be your intent too. Some people are very three-dimensional, okay, and with that said, a lot of people won't express themselves and do many things, and will hold themselves back because they have different outlooks. Like, it's some people who won't try things because they feel like, well, if I can't accomplish it at this level, I'm not going to even try it, and things like that. If that's what it matters, if that's what matters to you, if that's your outlook, then that's your outlook, But I would challenge anybody to kind of take a second look at that outlook and express yourself. And because success can be measured on so many different levels, okay? And like I said, I know I'm divagating.